Hey, political junkies, strap in. I just watched the Senate Judiciary Committee do what it does best. Pull back the curtain, live and unfiltered. Senator John Kennedy was at the center of it all, grilling judicial nominees Fatima Desai and Judge Gretchen Pryor. Trust me, you'll want to hear what happened. It started off almost cute. Kennedy checking if he's saying Desai right, then joking about her kid, who was literally asleep in the room. You can do better than ice cream, I'll negotiate for you, he quipped. The room laughed, but you could feel it coming. Kennedy was just warming up.
Thank you. Senator Kennedy?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Congratulations to both of you. Ms. Desai, am I saying your name right?
Senator, it's Desai.
Desai. You introduced your children, and I missed that part of your testimony. Are they here?
They are, Senator. My three daughters, one of them looks like she's asleep. She's probably not converted from Arizona time yet. They're 10, 7, and 5.
Okay. Kids, you can do a lot better than ice cream, okay? If you would like me to negotiate for you, I'll be happy to. Ms. Desai, Senator Durbin talked to you about a case on which you were counsel. Was that the case where plaintiffs sought to extend the voter registration period?
Yes, Senator.
Okay.
Suddenly the gloves came off. He locked onto Desai's role in a high-stakes Arizona case, one about extending voter registration. The Secretary of State, Katie Hobbs, got sued. The deadline moved. Kennedy's question, who actually made that call? Desai, her legal team, or was it all politics? Desai explained she advised, but ultimately Hobbs called the shots. But Kennedy dug deeper. Did the Ninth Circuit Court override Arizona law with their ruling, or was it just a quick fix? Desai danced around it. Kennedy wasn't letting up. And honestly, this isn't just courtroom drama. These are the moves that shape how every vote counts, or doesn't. If you like getting the real story behind the headlines, hit that subscribe button right now. I break down these moments every week, no spin, no fluff.
This was a period of time set in statute by the legislature, as I recall, in which people in Arizona could vote.
Correct.
Right. And the plaintiffs wanted to extend that period of time.
Correct.
And they sued the Secretary of State.
Yes, Senator. Again, I wasn't involved at the trial court level, but if I remember correctly, the Secretary of State was a defendant. She might have been the only defendant, although I remember that the county recorders were involved at some point in that litigation.
Okay. And who was the Secretary of State then?
The Secretary of State at that time and currently in Arizona is Katie Hobbs.
And what party is she in?
She is a Democrat.
Okay. In that case, did you make the decisions, or did the Secretary of State make the decisions?
Senator, whenever I represent a client, I endeavor to make decisions with my client, and after advising my client fully of the options, take direction from my clients.
Yeah, it's the way it worked when I practiced law too. The Secretary of State decided to settle the case and extend the time to register the vote. Is that the ultimate outcome of the case?
Senator, there was discussion about a settlement, but the settlement could not be, if I remember correctly, there was not enough time to enter into and finalize a settlement. So the ruling from the Ninth Circuit panel is the ruling that the parties ultimately implemented for purposes of determining the outcome of the voter registration deadline.
So the Secretary of State and the plaintiffs went to the Ninth Circuit and asked the Ninth Circuit to issue that ruling?
Senator, what happened in that case, to the best of my recollection, is that there was conversations with all of the parties, so the plaintiffs, the Secretary of State, as well as counsel for interveners, which were both presidential campaigns. I think also the
Yes, ma'am.
parties.
Excuse me for interrupting, but I'm going to run out of time, Counselor. My understanding is, and I think it's accurate, that the Secretary of State and the plaintiffs went to the Ninth Circuit and said, we have worked this out. We recommend that you rule this particular way. Isn't that what happened?
Senator, I think it was all of the parties.
Right, all of the parties.
Correct, including the interveners, which included the political parties and the campaigns for both presidential candidates.
So the Ninth Circuit ended up changing the state statute ultimately.
Senator, the order from the Ninth Circuit, I believe, was to reverse the district court's order extending the voter registration deadline, but allowing voters who had relied on that opinion or that order and registered to accept those voter registrations.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, I've got 13 seconds.
Then came Judge Pryor and the million-dollar question, what gives federal judges the power to issue nationwide injunctions? Kennedy wanted a straight answer, a law, a clause, anything. Pryor referenced debates and case history but couldn't point to a specific authority. Kennedy pressed. Still no answer. With just seconds left, Kennedy cut straight through the legal fog. Where's the authority? He asked one last time. Pryor couldn't say. And just like that, he wrapped it, dry, polite, but sharp as ever.
Ms. Pryor, explain to me, Judge Pryor, explain to me the legal basis for a universal injunction.
For a universal,
Injunction, the legal basis.
the legal standard for a nationwide.
Not the standard, the legal basis. Where do the federal district judges get the power to issue a universal injunction that affects everybody in the United States?
I understand, Mr. Kennedy, that question as to whether or not judicial officers have extended and gone beyond their limited power under Article 3 is a highly debated question of both public debate and discussion.
Yes, ma'am, but when a federal district judge issues a universal injunction that applies not just in his or her district, judicial district, but the United States, and the parties say, Judge, what is your legal basis for doing this? Is there a statute? Is it in the Constitutional? What is the answer?
What within our district and the Southern District of Indiana, the injunction, the preliminary injunction has been limited to that of the parties and the litigants.
Maybe I'm not being clear. I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman. Just, if you could, just tell me the legal basis. Where does a federal judge get the authority to issue a universal injunction?
The authority that judges in the DC Circuit or in other areas that have applied a nationwide injunction, the question that was raised before the court or the legal standard they have used is questioning whether or not the federal government, a policy or executive power can be executed. In those circumstances, those judges have issued what been deemed as nationwide injunctions.
I know they have, but what's the legal basis for it?
Again, that's my understanding of when those have been enforced.
Okay. Thanks, Judge.
Thank you.
This wasn't just another hearing. It was a spotlight on the real tension between courts and lawmakers, theory and reality. Kennedy didn't just rattle cages, he exposed the gray areas that affect us all. Stay tuned, stay sharp, and don't forget to subscribe for more political secrets. No filter, every week. See you next time.